Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Unzipping. If you're your first time here, what is it? Well, Unzipping is like unboxing, but for PDFs. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a first look at an indie game that caught my eye some time ago or recently, but that I haven't had the chance to actually read it yet. So all the games that you see in this series, this is the first time I'm having contact with them. Today, I'm featuring Marvelous Mutations and Merry Musicians by Wendi Y or Wendi Yu on Twitter, if you find her there. And I decided to do this one because I have seen this cover and this game quite a few times, and I know I had it from a bundle, I guess, some time ago, and I've never opened it, but I saw some of the pages on the preview at the each page, and thought this looks incredible. I think I saw it as well on Exalted Funeral, and I really it really speaks to me in a way that it's even hard to explain. So I'm betting this is going to be a very unique game. The title itself, it's very cool. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's start with the page where you can find it. So this game is available at itch.io at Wendi Y's page. And here you can see some of the thumbnails. So this is what caught my attention the first time. It has a unique flavor, very magazine punk rock style to it, fanzine, and it looks like every single page has a different layout. It's something that for me it's super interesting. It's something that me as a designer, I don't think I would be able to pull off. I mean, I've tried, I always go for the minimalistic route because it's the one that I can manage to do. I think if I tried to do something like Wendi did here, it wouldn't have this kind of cool result here. And, but just check it out. Those pages are very, very nice. So I have no idea what this game is about or anything. So let's discover it together. So the apocalypse was long, long ago, so long that no one even remembers it happened. Okay, so this is like a post-apocalyptic game. Now the wastelands are filled with life. There are some ruins in the landscape with mysteries and abandoned biotech marvels that we don't know what they do. Cool. Some of them lead to places that defy everything you think of as the laws of nature. Right. So very weird stuff laying around. A high percentage of all living things are born with the weird, some sort of mutation. Okay, so this is part of the name that I'm deciphering here. We have mutations that come with this weird stuff that goes around the planet. And those mutations give you power. Okay. People, not people, and once people. Oh, okay. That's very interesting. Okay. So defined some like a post-human sort of a unhuman and post-human sort of a fiction as well. Some are friendly, some are lonely, dangerous or boring. There's solar-powered electricity. Firearms are little more than a myth. I like that as a concept. So musical instruments, on the other hand, still survive to this day. Live entertainment is highly valued. So you see, right from the get go, this clash of concepts, it's really attracts me, and the cover speaks to it very well. So we see, uh, if we open it, there you go. We see a cover with a guy with a guitar on their back and some energy, electricity moving out of into them, and then tentacles and weird nature and everything. So this clash of a post-apocalyptic mutant society where live entertainment is very valued. That's there is no magic. There are no wars. There's only music. This is super cool, right? So this is a game about a band of traveling mutant musicians. They go from town to town performing concerts, maybe exploring ruins, helping communities, or just drinking and destroying the rooms. Okay. So we have random tables, collaborative world building, a tag system for character creation, screenwriting inspired narrative mechanics with focus on character arcs. I'm going to highlight this because this is something I'm very interested in seeing applied because, well, it speaks to me as a game designer, something that I aim to do, although I do not have the skill yet to pull it off. Maybe this will be a nice reference for me after all. And a simple 2 to 6 resolution mechanics. Perfect. Okay, and you can now buy the print version at Exalted Funeral. Let's show it to you in case you're interested. There you go. See this cool spread. This looks marvelous. So for 15 bucks, you get the PDF and the physical format. Just look. This is a great job. Okay. Thanks to the people at the FCAR Collective. Okay. Suggestions that she acknowledges here. All right. And it is incredible, but this is actually a pay what you want PDF file. Can you believe that? So let's do this. Let's download it. We can have singles, spreads, and a text-only version. I'd assume that this is a very fortunate decision by Wendi to include a text-only version, especially because the layout is very unique, very different. And if we're talking with people that have low vision or maybe have problems with focusing on a page that has too many elements, providing a text-only version, it's very kind, very appreciated. So let's download it. It's a 45 megabyte file. Let's see how it looks. Bam. Voila. All right. So let me check you're seeing this. Yeah. So again, this cover comprises pretty much the feeling that I expect this game to have. It's a post-apocalyptic, so there is this kind of hopeful aspect to it. The marvelous mutations. So you see, the mutations are offered here not as a punishment, not as something to be shunned. It's something unique that brings powers, that brings special stuff, and merry musicians. So they offer you joy, and even with these weird flowers and tentacles, it looks like it's a place, and there are no guns and weapons and wars. So it looks like a place of celebration. Let's see if I'm. Oh yeah, a game about post-apocalyptic kind of solar punk. So yeah, there's this nod to solar energy. Musicians traveling the once wastelands that are now thriving with life. Very cool. Let's do the spread view. I think would be better. There you go. It makes sense. That's some of the inspirations here. Screenwriting classes. When I told you that I don't have the skills to do what Wendy did here, that's what I mean. Screenwriting is something that it's not part yet of my skill set. Music mockumentaries like This Is Spinal Tap, a classic. The Fiction of Jeff Vandermeer, Electric Bastionland, a game I love. PBTAs, Microscope, another game that I love. Heart by Grant Howitt, excellent choice. Fate Core, okay, so I'm pretty confident that this game is going to speak to me clearly because judging by the references when it puts out, it's pretty much my jam. This will be forever free for download. Cool. And it's CC BY Creative Commons. Okay. So this is an interesting choice for the first two pages. See, you come from this with a sort of almost like a brush style of type font to a serifed one, very classic, very somber, and with watercolor on the background and some cool art. I put with the credits, written and designed by Wendy. So she did everything, huh? That's pretty amazing. Let's take a look at the setting. So the game implies a weird post-apocalyptic fantasy, but you know what you like better than me, so do whatever you want with it. So a great recommendation just to start. No one even remembers the apocalypse, so this is pretty much what we read on the each page. The game, we're a band, okay, helping communities, playing, exploring. So we have to create a name for the band, discuss the genres and styles we play. That would be a fun exercise, like to come up with unexistent genres, fictional genres of music, like mashing together things that were never mashed before. Now you create your characters and describe how they met. Safety tools, suggestions of lines and veils in the X card, and then create a set list. What is this? Take turns, say an element, any element you'd like the game to either have or not have. If someone disagrees, say your arguments and have a vote, or flip a coin. Okay. Okay, I think we have enough already, and the set list is done. I think this draws inspiration from the yes and no, what is it called? Microscope. That's the palette, I suppose. I'm assuming that's where the inspiration for Microscope comes from. Decide which one of you will play as the person who does not play as a protagonist. This is, I'm assuming this is the expression she uses instead of the game master. They will mediate conflicts, call for roles, and narrate the adventures. You know the role. Come up with a title for them. Okay. I'll call them the roadie for now. Excellent choice. Yeah. Producer. Yeah, something like that, something music related. Okay, now we have a band, we have the group. This is interesting. We create a group first, create the genres, what unites the members of the band, and then we create the protagonist, right? Okay, so I like how every single spread like takes you into a complete different world. This is something that I respect a lot. So kudos to Wendy for pulling it off, because it's not easy to accomplish something like that. And you see, they kind of make sense together, right? So how do we create our protagonist? We have a name, repeat it out loud until it stops making sense. Then try to twist it to make it look slightly off. Oh, okay. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I'll zoom it for you. She changed the font here to look slightly off. That's a very interesting way to come up with a name. Repeat it out loud until it stops making sense. That's so flavorful. Now describe the looks. Ask another player for a little detail that's fitting for your character. Okay, so here's a little nod to collaborative character creation, which I like very much. Something we see in bonds when we are looking at PBTA games. Like, you try to invite other people to say how you're related. In this one, you actually ask someone to tell a detail about you, your character. You don't have to play as a human. There are no elves, but this game is pro monsters. I love it. Now create a background for a character. You can roll 2d20 on the table until you find something that inspires you. This is I love random tables for sure. So you can be like, if I roll, let me see, 13 and 7, a spiritual fighter, love it, or a biotech lover, or a squid rider. Squid rider, I want to play as a squid rider so much. You see, this is something of my preference. I'm not telling you that this is the right way to do it, but when I see things like that, I really resonates with my style of games, the games I like to play and the games I like to make. There is no lore, like a bunch of pre-made setting that you have to absorb or refer to while you're playing. Instead, what you have is like a single page, maybe short paragraphs telling a little bit about the world and who the characters are. And everything else is either built during the game or is implied through character choices, equipment, setting generators, and things like that. So this table with, what is it, 40, 60 words, 60 words in the table has more flavor that sometimes someone tries to imply writing like 10 full pages of setting. Don't you agree? When I say that I was, before I became a musician, I was a squid writer, that says a lot about the world that we live, right? I don't need to explain what a squid writer is at the moment, but it gives you a mental image of for the group that you're playing with that's so colorful, so flavorful, and I think it's brilliant. Part of this preference is because I have a very hard time retaining lore. So if I read a game that's a thread game, something like the World of Darkness or Iron Kingdom that start with the cosmology and factions and everything, I can't keep that in my mind, and I find it very hard to run a game with that much canon that everything you do you have to see, oh, does it make sense considering the timeline and everything. I can't play it like, I can't play like that. I prefer that things emerge during play, and this character background, if that was the only table on the game, it was worth the game already, because it's a like a mysterious monger, mysterious maid, or a silky authority. That's a brilliant. Now we get a mutation. Row 1D100 from the table below to get a mutation. So I see 15 entries. I'm assuming it goes on and on, right? It does. Oh, that's nice. Now take a look at that. 100. Roll again thrice. This is wonderful. That's the illustration. The guy with the Les Paul with the tentacles coming out of his mouth that I've seen everywhere. And but let's go back and appreciate the choice here to make a D100 table that spreads over 8 pages, with every single part of it being its own unique flavor and layout. Pretty unique, huh? So it transforms the game into like just looking at a list of things to and remember, at this moment you're still in character creation, so you don't know yet a lot about the world that you are in. You have this idea of marvelous mutations, but then with 1D100 table spread out like that, with the mutations shown through those awesome character designs, you're kind of invited to take a little bit more time to absorb the kind of world you're living in. You're not just looking for your entry as you go through these pages. You're actually learning a bit more about the aesthetic and the appeal of the game. So this is something I can get behind. It's not like I'm using as much space as I can. Is like, take your time in this table, looking over the entries and absorbing this feel, the colors of this world. So your mutations don't have specific rules about them. Just play them like everything else. Cool. 1d12 extra nipples. That's fun. Translucent skin. Okay. Prehensile tongue. Yeah. I imagine, I'm assuming, Wendy, if you're watching this, that coming up with those 100 entries were both super fun and extremely hard. If it were me, like around 60 or 70, I'll be like, I can't. I don't have any more ideas. But look at 63. Every day you cough massive amounts of pollen at least once. This is amazing. Now, we had a background, something we did before entering the band. Now we have the mutations. And then we go for the assign 2 tags for each of the following verbs. So be, have, and do. So be anything that defines your character beyond being a musician. Party lover, amateur, taxidermist, poet, emo, etc. Okay, so what you are. Have, things that you carry beyond your musical instruments, like a secret letter, a pair of pet iguanas. Or do, and things that you know beyond music. So kung fu fighting, know everything about birds and everything. This is a very clever way to define traits for a character. Like those are talents or personality traits. Then you have possessions, equipment, And then you have skills or training, very easy and defined only by three verbs. I wonder if there is a character sheet with this game. I guess let me go to the end. Uh, I don't think we do. Not that you need. I think you can take like a, if that's all character creation, you can take like a post-it and write everything you need there. Now, there's more. Two things your character wants and one thing they need. Okay. What they want is a conscious objective. What they need, something they have to go through, but not necessarily want or even know about it. Okay. They can change as you play. Okay. So the need is something that will grant you a satisfying ending to your story. So some wants. Avenge the death of my parents. Okay. Like a motivation, like a personal goal. Like needs, overcome a trauma, learn to care about the smaller things, accept myself, find forgiveness. Yeah, this is interesting. Most games I see and the games I made, I kind of blend these two things together, and there's like personal goals, but it makes things that you want and things that you need, but something that you don't even know about. And I think it's clever for Wendy to have decided to split those in two. So if you get what you need before you get what you want, they can retire in peace or receive a revelation that will make all roles related to their wants easier. Excellent. If you get both your wants without getting what they need, they are not as satisfying as they imagine. So you can give up or go through their darkest hour to receive a revelation. Okay, so this is very clever. Let me read through this yellow box here. That's a post-it. The wants and needs system is intended to provide you with open-ended long-term goals, but if that feels too restrictive, here's an alternative. Don't worry about general wants. Just come up with two short-term beats for things your character want and one for what they need. When you reach a beat, cross it off and come up with the next one. Everything else works the same. Okay, so this is an alternative rule to give some more concrete feeling to the progress of what you need. There's things that you can see, for example, in Iron Sworn with the progress tracks. You can see on the projects of 7th C second edition. Uh, I really like that. I use something similar to that with the Outcast, my solo game, and I think it works fine. And you see that there is a mechanical decision here to separate wants and needs, and makes a lot of fictional sense, in my opinion. Now, the final character's darkest hour. This is the lowest point in their story. You can play it or just narrate it. I suggest you play it with your band, but I'm not your boss. I like the tone. Both wants and needs have beats. Beats are steps. So, what's the darkest hour? Let me see if I understood this correctly. That's the moment where you have to face your deepest fears. Okay, that's another thing that we have to define. Then we have an explanation of the beats of the wants and needs. They are not the same as successes or achievements. They're moments. So yeah, okay. So this is a difference between this and the progress track and Iron Sworn. Iron Sworn actually like you're having a journey, and then you have your waypoints. It's actually some sort of achievement. This is just moments that you, even failures and defeats, you mark as a beat. Okay. It's a progress of the story, really, but not necessarily a successful one, which I think it's nice. It embraces failure as as important part of your story as success is. In either case, it marks a beat, so it makes a lot of sense. Now, every time you reach a beat, you can change all the remaining beats and one of your tags for something else, if you can justify how that makes sense in the story. So I think this is like the sort of advancement mechanic for the game. So instead of having like you get plus anything, what when you get like a beat, let's say it's like a milestone, and in this milestone you have the chance to change parts of your story, even the things that you want or need to do, or the things about yourself, your tags. Pretty cool. And then choose your instrument, any instrument you like. Now tell us how your character personalize it to their tastes. Ah, okay. So not only you choose an instrument, but you customize your instrument. Of course you do, right? So all of this was character creation. Even before beginning telling the story, you already define your darkest hour, which I think is fascinating. It might be a little overwhelming to come up with something. I wonder if by the end of the game there's an example or maybe tables to help you come up with your own darkest hours as inspiration. Because it's very free form, which I like, and with uh, I don't know, veteran or experienced players, specifically players that are used to storytelling, or novice players that like storytelling, like kids and everything. I always find playing with kids with very open-ended games is a very fascinating and a very positive experience. So I think they would come up with it in a heartbeat. But I also think that maybe there will be people that would find this challenging. That's why I think talking to the band and inviting collaboration is very important here. In a cooperative space, you can riff off those ideas about your fears, and I think it would come out much easier. Okay, I think we're done with character creation and moving on to three songs from the list. Roll 3d20. Okay, so to get three times here. Not all of them have amazing powers, but these do. Okay, let's see. But so they're not song names. What kind of things can we roll here? Oh, okay. So this is the magic system. As Wendi explains, there is no magic, there's only music. So those songs have powers. They can be anything from like make a solid explode, cause hallucinations, calm down. The song's so ethereal you can fly while playing it. I can feel this is so good. The song is so goth, it can make all the light around you fade away while you play, even outdoors. The song so dark makes anyone that listens so afraid they want to run away. This is precious. This song is so metal, it can bring down lightning from the skies while you play, even indoors, randomly. Okay, so you play this song and then strikes a lightning right in your friend. Name them accordingly. This part would be fantastic. I think I would go for a random music name, song name generator, and pop up a few suggestions. Oh, and it's a LP cover. Very cool. And this is fantastic illustration. Now, okay, so we have the band, we have our character. Our character, summing up, we have a background, we have a mutation, we have two tags in three verbs, we have two wants and one need, a darkest hour, and beats to the wants and needs, and an instrument. Now the band has three songs, or each character has three songs. I'm not sure. Playing the game. Do whatever you want and deal with the consequences. Okay, that's it. We can close the PDF. That's all the explanation you need. If you try to do something potentially dangerous or uncertain outcomes, or if the stakes are just too high, roll 2d6. If any of your tags could help you, roll 3d6 and pick the highest two. Okay. 6 or less a failure, or a success with disastrous or completely unexpected consequences. The roadie decides 7 to 9 is okay, but, and a 10 or more, you did good and get to say how you did it. Combat is not special, just do the same stuff. So this is the traditional spread of PBTA games, but instead of having modifiers, you have the possibility to roll an extra die and choose the two highest, which I think is cool. And what I really like is that it explicitly says that with a 6 or less, you can have a failure, you can choose a failure, but you can also choose a success if you're willing to deal with disasters or unexpected consequences, which I love, really. I don't like random failure, and for that I mean failure that you don't choose yourself to do. So this is giving like control to the players, or to the roadie in this case, to try. No, I want this thing to happen, and it's okay if it's disastrous in any other way. Consequences. Whenever you pop up, get hurt, or something else with consequences that can last for a while, take a consequence tag. Okay, like headache, broken arm. Okay, pretty standard consequence or conditions as we see in other games like Fate, for example. A horrible smell, an acid trip. So when making a roll, if a consequence could get in your way, you roll 3d6 and get the lowest value. So it's kind of rolling with disadvantage. If you have a tag that will help, they cancel each other, and you roll the standard 2d6. Very easy, very simple to implement. There's a limit, a cap of 3 consequences. Okay. You can get rid of them by taking narratively appropriate actions, and you rest. So if you have 3 consequences, the next time you should take one, roll a d6. A 5 or 6 means you get to narrate how you miraculously escape it. 1 to 4 means either this consequence or one of the previous trees get more permanent. So you have to swap one of your tags for it. Oh, okay. And next time you can die, give up, or you can swap one of your wants for wanting to get rid of this consequence. Oh, this is a very smart game design choice. So you have the consequences are crippling up towards the more important things of your character. First, they just fill a slot that's saved for consequences. Like they'll have 3 of those. After that, it takes one of your tags. So one of the things that you are, that you have, or that you are good at. Those are important. But after that, it takes the space of one of the things that you want. And this is so relatable, right? Sometimes you change your priorities because stuff is happening to you, and you have to prioritize getting rid of the bad stuff that just happened instead of going after the things that you wanted before. So this is a very clever choice. I really dig it. Really, really like it. Now, beats. When you reach a beat, cross it out. Each beat crossed makes the rows related to the next beat in the list harder. Let me read that again. If each cross makes the rows related to the next beat in the list harder. Okay, so I'm progressing towards my objective. I crossed one. Okay. For the next thing, when I'm getting closer to it, it gets harder. So 3d6 get the lowest, or 2d6 minus 1, 2d6 minus 2. So each beat crossed also makes the rolls that could end in your character dying or giving up easier. Roll 2d6 plus 1d6 for each beat. Oh, okay. So this is a kind of a balanced situation, right? You cross the beats. It's going to get harder because the next steps on your journey are more complicated. But you're like inspired or more experienced. And by that, you also have more ways to avoid being defeated or giving up. Very clever. Interesting. All right. Cool. Now the songs. Playing the songs or magic. When you want to use your special, powerful songs, you declare it, declare how you play it, and what you're trying to accomplish. Now you roll a d6. That's the measure of how well you play it. In a scale from Sid Vicious to David Gilmour. Yes. Okay, so I really like personally the choice of David Gilmour and Sid Vicious. A one means you played so bad your bandmates wish they had unplugged your amp. 2 or 3 means well, yeah, you played lesser effect. 4 or 5, it's exactly what you wanted, and a 6 was even better than expected. If it's in a battle against another band or any other non-musical adversary, there's no turns or whatever. Each of you just do whatever you want whenever you want, but they also do the same. Remember, you can either play a song or just stab them in the eye. Okay. And for each session or in-game day, you can play a solo. You choose your song and you do your thing. If they all agree, they give up directions and support you for your solo. And then you roll 1d6 for each band member helping you. You keep the highest, so it's time to shine. Okay, so this mechanic encourages some sort of sharing the spotlight moment here. You have this situation that if you feel that you can really pull it off and you can really make something, you try to convince your group that this is your moment, and assuming that you play with people that you trust and are people that know how to share the spotlight, this would be a moment that they will like sit on the background and give you the spotlight, and you can roll like a bunch of the six and have like the most awesome effect for the song that you're going to play. That's for me probably one of the nicest role playing opportunities that this game provides. No, for some oh, okay, that's this dude Playing the accordion with the mushroom hair is amazing, and the mushroom spine as well. You see, if you have the means, I mean, just get the physical format, right? Imagine having that in your hand and flipping through this. Even if you like, if you don't read it, it's a pleasant experience, a lethargic one as well. Okay, so NPC table 3D20 to fill the sentence. A one, two, who three. So a drunken cat who wants to ask you a favor, or a stinky detective who is running from something, or a fake lizard who is in love with you. That's fancy characters. Again, when I say about implicit setting, that's what I'm talking about. We have 20 entries here for, let's say, occupations or archetypes. So it is saying that this world has a lizard, has a prophet, or a zombie, or a skeleton, and this ghost can be in love with you, and or play the drums, right? So I appreciate this kinds of tables in games when they are very evocative of a certain feel, or a certain genre. So even, okay, the whole game is providing you with the vibe, right? There is no question when you're flipping through this book what kind of vibe you're getting from the game. But then you have these opportunities on a table like that. Okay, you get into a bar to play your gig, and you roll for an NPC, and you get an ethereal skeleton who seeks revenge. Voila, you have a fantastic storytelling opportunity in your hands. Don't you agree? Now, location table, 2D20 for places to explore, like a sentient theater, or a wild studio, or a sacred factory. A sacred factory sounds very interesting. An improvised cathedral. And then credits. Here are the fonts, image sources, unless noted. Unless noted, all image resources were taken from public domain sources. This is incredible, you know. I think this is a trend from independent game designers, especially I don't know, the ones that are trying to make the most with what they have available. I mean, for me, I'm speaking for myself. I don't have the means to hire an artist to do custom illustrations for my games, uh, nor do I have a stock image subscription to any kind of service, except for Canva that has some photos. So I also rely heavily on public domain images, and what Wendi accomplished here by combining those images is something extraordinary, right? Credit for it. So there are a lot of textures from pixels, and this is a good reference for you if you're trying to do the same with your game. Just take a look at the sources that when listed here, and you can go on Unsplash, Pexels, Pixabay, and try your hand at it. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not like just grabbing a photo and stamping on your game. There is a lot of editing going on here, but that's a start. And Rock and roll. This is the game, right? Well, what can I say? My expectations were correct. This is very much my jam. It's a unique setting and with a lot of flavor, excellent layout design, the desktop publishing, the editorial design here is very very unique. I wish I had a physical copy of, if I had the space and the money to buy it and the space to where to put it. I really recommend you check it. I have the link down below in the description, but in case you're watching this, it this is the website. Okay, I'll drop it on the chat as well. Let me see if I have it here. I do. I don't know if it shows it to you. And but I mean, go check it out. It's on itch. The PDF is for free and it will be always for free, but you can get the physical format in Exalted Funeral. I really recommend you do. While you are there, go ahead and check out all the other games from Wendi. Give her a follow. You see there are a lot of stuff going on here. Things by friends. She also highlights things that she likes from other people in the community. And I might look at it for my next game that I want to unzip here. And that's why I always saw that image. It's the thumbnail for the game. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, right? Well, and that's it for today's unzipping. If you liked what I did here, I consider you could help me out, support me on Coffee. The links on this description, and it's also going down here, as you can see. Buy my games on itch and spread the word around. I really like doing this. It gets to me to know and raise the voices of independent creators, and I get to learn new system and see these marvelous creations that we have around the indie community. So if you like it, make sure to subscribe and tune in because I plan to do it quite often. But for today, that's all I have. Thank you so much and have a good night.